Hello, hello, hello. I've been waiting for quite a bit now to finish getting this mold prepared. I was able to trim it down. It was a pretty good sized box, and I was finally able to cast it. This is the biggest jumbo crystal cluster mold that I have. Um, I haven't decided if I'm going to actually sell the mold yet. It's pretty large, and it really would be pretty pricey. So for now, I'm going to just make the epoxy resin crystals and just sell the crystals for now. Um, I might entertain um, offers on making the mold, but it's a big it's a big mold to make, and for now, I'm just going to stick with the castings, which can be done in pretty much any color. Um, you can always send me a specific pigment that you would like me to use in it. It's always beautiful and clear though. So let's see how it came out. The pressure pot pushed a little bit of it over the edge. I just have to bring it a little close to me to get a grip on it. So the whole thing isn't going to be totally crystal clear because some people don't understand that these sides of a crystal are not completely smooth. This is a raw crystal. This is not a polished crystal. When you use polished crystal points, um, you see this is a little bit shiny there, and these sides have texture and they're pretty shiny. There are some pieces along here, along this side and the bottom, that are like a frost color, that are not completely and will never be completely clear. So people need to understand that not every casting is completely shiny. Um, my bee mold, this size mold that I do, this whole point here is frosted. It's so textured from being a natural crystal that it doesn't get shiny. And, you know, this one's not as shiny as, say, my bee mold that I do. This is a casting that shows how pretty clear that one is, except for where the little druzy bits are on that. Um, but if I show you the actual crystal, it's clear, but it has texture. The crystal has texture on each facet. Here is smooth, and here is smooth. So, um, just because you see a couple sides shining and looking beautiful doesn't mean the whole thing is going to come out super crystal. All these sides have some texture to them. I just want to snip off the part that doesn't belong on there. That kind of dripped over the edge. Sometimes when you put pressure in the pot, it'll push the resin around sometime. So this little part here went over the edge. And not every molding or resin crystal is perfect. So if you are looking for perfection, it's really not going to happen. If someone uses only polished crystals in their mold sculptures, then you might get closer to perfection that you may be looking for. But I don't have all polished crystals. I have a lot of raw crystals that come right out of the mountains. So I'm going to do a little measuring here while we're on camera. This one is, that side is almost 2.5 inches long. This side is 2 inches long. The width of this is 4 inches across by 3 inches across by just under 3 inches totally lengthwise. So it's a pretty good size specimen. Sitting in my hand, it's that big. And compared, for those who are buying the other crystals, compared to the bead crystal, which was my second biggest crystal, and this was done with the resin, so this is why this is just sitting here. It's not for sale. It's already yellowed, and I use epoxy ACAST 690 in the crystals that I make and sell, and that stays clear. Okay, this is just something that I can actually make a mold from this one if I needed to. This one just sits around for me. And compared to my C mold, that's how big that one is. And let me grab one of my clusters to show you the biggest cluster. Okay, so this is the big A cluster. And this shows you how much bigger this one is than that one. And, you know, it's not completely perfect. It is a crystal with, some of the crystals have chunks out of them. You know, some of them are not perfect. You need to be sure when you look at these and understand that the mold is, although it is shiny, there is a texture on it from the crystals. This crystal has complete texture on it. It's a rough surface here, but this side has a texture, but it is smooth. This side is smooth, this is smooth, this is smooth, this is smooth, this is smooth. The top of this is smooth, then goes into texture, and this is smooth texture, smooth but has texture on it. Not completely smooth looking on that side. So there's a few clear facets, but this crystal has a texture to it. So it has a lot of imperfections in it. I believe you may be able to put some clear over this, and like if I licked my finger and just wet my finger, that takes away some of the cloudiness that's there on that. So I mean, you can sit and brush it, and you may have to brush it 2 or 3 times. I would not brush the crystal clear sides with anything, I would only take your brush and go over a little bit on these sides that are showing rough, raw, natural crystal sides. So I just want to be sure that people can realize that these are not perfect. They are very beautiful, but each side is different, and only certain sides of the crystal are clear. This side can be made clear, but I just want to make sure that you have an understanding of that. And that's a heck of a crystal. So position it next to my other crystals. Let me find a couple of my other ones. So these are the sizes. This is the 1A. This is the C crystal. Again, this crystal is not completely smooth. It has some smooth sides. This whole point here is a dull point with texture. And some of them aren't as shiny. This one here is the B mold. And for the most part, it has shiny sides. You could see the texture on this side, but it's actually shiny. And this was the double D mold. This was one of the first ones, so I actually have this with less of this around the edges, but it's more flat with a lot of the drusies. I changed the bottom of this mold, but the two tips are exactly the same. So just showing you the sizes compared to this big hunka. That's my jumbo. This is going to be Mr. Jumbo. This is the double. This is the C. This is the A. And this is the B. Now this one here has other things on it that are making it sparkle like that. So this is just one that I had put some clear coat on because this one came out dull. This was one of my first moldings, and I had put too much mold release, sprayed it in the mold before I put the resin in, and it dulled the whole thing. So you need to be careful when you're using a mold release. You need to know how to use it, and I was not using it correctly at the time. So I'm just showing you the size. This is an embellished one. This is not how they come. Unless you wanted it to come looking like that, you would have to request that with a separate email letting me know. So I'll be listing this up on the website. I'll be selling just the crystal. For now, I'm not going to sell the mold because it's humongous. It's big. People are already complaining, that my molds, are $45. So imagine this is $45, and look how small that is compared to this one. This is double the size. This is easy an $80 mold. So I don't, unless I get special requests from people who understand that they're going to pay for that price, I don't even want to go there right now. So I'm not ready to list that up for sale. Like I said, if I get a special request, I may, but it takes a while to build the mold box around this. And, there's a lot of steps involved in creating a mold the way that I make them. And then I take the extra step of the pressure pot, so take that into consideration before you start making your judgments. And if you want to read some of my reviews on my molds, on the website under a couple of the molds, there are reviews there. So anyone who's purchased my molds, if you can go to the website, find the products that you bought, and give me reviews under each product description. There's an area that says leave a review. So if you can do that, give your honest reviews on them, and I would appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm going to come back and make another video of another brand new crystal mold that I have for sale, and I am going to be selling the mold for this and making castings of the next one. So this one's just for the resin crystal. That's what's going to be going up for sale. It's a jumbo crystal, and I'm going to come back and make another video showing you my next one. Thank you for watching. Make something beautiful. Rock on, people. Ciao.